Shalom, everyone, and welcome to another of our weekly fellowship videos. And today we will be looking at the question of whether or not Yahuwah is the Elohim of everyone. The Elohim of everybody, as it is claimed. And I did a kind of matching post on my website entitled "Who is God?" and that would kind of complement this presentation here today. And so, is Yahuwah the Elohim, or as they say, the God of everyone? Is he the God of the whole world? All right. And let's start at, I had this verse to look up and I realized that I didn't look it up, but it shouldn't be hard to see. The expert in Genesis, Judith, are you here? Judith, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I found it. I wanted your help to find a verse in Genesis, but I found it. All right, so we will start by start in Genesis 4, verse 3. You're speaking of the offering of Cain and Abel. And in process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto Yahuwah. And Abel, he also brought of the firstlings of his flock, and of the fat thereof. And Yahuwah had respect unto Abel and to his offering. But unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. All right? And we know it went on that Cain eventually went on to kill his brother. So we're just establishing a precedence that there has always been two parallel forms of worship. A true authentic one that Yahuwah accepts, that of Abel, and a false mirror of the authentic one, a false version of the authentic one, that such as was presented by Cain. And this has followed us throughout the ages. A false, what should you say, religious priesthood, and a true authentic one. And Yahuwah knew that this would happen, and so he predestinated Israel to be the ones that carry his true worship. And throughout time, the false worship will always rival the true worship. And so false religions and false establishments are created by the nations who follow the way of Cain, right down to the time of Nimrod, the mystery religions of Babylon. It has come right through. And this false priesthood is the reason that Yahuwah selected for himself a people, one people, to show forth his praise, his splendor or his glory, and his praises, and one people to carry his truth and to live in righteousness. Because all people cannot and will not live in truth and live in righteousness, because they will be following a false priesthood. And this is indicative to Christians today. You cannot stay in the false priesthood of Christianity and worship Yahuwah. Let me say it again. You cannot stay in the false priesthood of Christianity and worship Yahuwah, because your sacrifice, your worship will not be accepted in the vein of the Cain and Abel scenario. Your worship will not be accepted, which is why the Messiah said in Matthew 15 verse 8 or 9, I think, in vain do they worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men.
Then
So Christianity in the vein of the commandments of men, which is not the true gospel and not the true good news, it is of the false priesthood because it is not of the truth. Therefore, we staying in Christianity, going to church, coming, we know the truth, and studying the truth, and then we go back into the false priesthood that is abominable to Yahuwah. Which is why he said in the book of Revelation, come out of her, my people. And which is why the Apostle Shaul said, be ye therefore separate. Yes, we have to be separate. We have to set ourselves apart. And which is why when he formed the ecclesia of the new covenant, which they call church, all right, it was called the set apart assemblies or the called out assemblies. It is a calling out of Babylon, a calling out of the false priesthood into the true priesthood of Israel. And this is why there is only one nation through which we can serve him, and that is through Israel. The strangers have to join themselves to Israel in covenant. Because we have the false priesthood, we want to rivet that in our mind, and the true priesthood. And the Bible itself is made up in that way. The Bible is made up to be ambiguous, a collection of writings. And anyone from the false priesthood can pick out their writings and justify their false priesthood. But he gave us the way that we can understand it. He said precept upon precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little. That is how we get the truth. Otherwise, anyone can use the Bible and pick out their things out of it and justify it. So the Most High, it says he made the wicked for the day of evil. He even provided he allowed his scripture to help to
justify their action.
build the false priesthood. Because what we must understand as well, that what the Most High actually wants is for us to love him out of our own hearts. So if he presents the false priesthood and he presents his true priesthood, we have a choice. Will we choose the false one or will we choose the true one? So this is what he gives us all throughout, which is why he said through Moshe, he says, I put before you today life and death. And he advises us to choose life. So with everything, he gives us a choice. So that's likewise with the Bible. He gave us the two sides, and it's like he's saying, choose the right side. So the right side can only be through Israel. So we're going to look at today if he is the Elohim of everyone, as is popularly claimed. All right? First of all, we go to a verse that you must be tired of hearing me, of seeing me use. And that verse you're supposed to be knowing by heart by this. Coming up. Let me share this now. No, that's not it. All right. Queenie, your time.
Deuteronomy 7, verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto Yahuwah thy Elohim. Yahuwah thy Elohim hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
All right. You have to do it more timely next time. But I'll go over it.
My
For thou
phone
art
screen cracked, so it's kind of hard to see.
the screen is what?
Cracked.
Oh,
Yes.
for thou art an holy people unto Yahuwah thy Elohim. This is what I was speaking about earlier. The false priesthood, the unholy one, and the holy priesthood. So here he's telling us that he chose Israel to be his holy ones, not of the false priesthood, of the type of Cain, of the type of Cain's offering, but of the type of Abel, a holy people unto Yahuwah thy Elohim. Yahuwah thy Elohim hath chosen thee, right? He selected Israel to be what? A special people unto himself. Each one of this is very, very revealing. Chose them to be special. Special means different from everyone else. And it says unto himself. That means even though we might not be special among each other, to him, Israel is special. And the next one is even more powerful. It says above all people, not all people that are in Africa or in Israel or Canaan. It says above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So right away, that verse is actually telling us that he is the Elohim of Israel, chose them to be special, chose them to be his, chose them to be holy unto him. All right? Now, the first thing we want to establish as well, because you have Israel and you have the Gentiles or the nations or the heathen. First thing we want to establish is how do the nations feel about Yahuwah? Because if Yahuwah is the Elohim of everyone, then that means that everyone, the nations, must love him. I am not going to be, I'm not going to worship an Elohim if I hate him. So we go to another popular verse that you must be tired of hearing me post, but as the nature of the Bible is, means different things in different situations, and it is powerful in each situation in which you use it. So we're going to prove how the nations feel about Yahuwah. Verse 2, 83 verse 2. Read, please.
Psalms 83, verse 2. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult,
Tumult.
tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
Okay, so we have some people now that actually hate the Most High. All right? Because if we go to verse 1, we see that David was actually speaking to Yahuwah. Keep not thy silence, O Elohim. Hold not thy peace and be not still, O Elohim. Right? So we see that there are some people who hate him. All right? And look what these people have done. Because we want to see if these people are going to want him to be their Elohim, or if these people actually love him enough for him to be their Elohim. Psalm 83 verse 3.
They have taken crafty counsels against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones.
Okay, so first of all now we see that these people are not Yahuwah's people, because they have taken crafty counsel against
His people.
thy people. That means they are different from his people. Go ahead to verse 4.
Verse 4. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
Oh, well, no. So we see now who are his people, the name of Israel. So we see it being stated explicitly here that the nations are not his people, but Israel are his people. Verse 5.
Verse 5. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee.
Go ahead.
For the verse 6, the tabernacles of Edom
Stop
and
there. I hardly ever stop at part of a verse, but this is just what we want. The tabernacles of Edom. This is speaking about who these enemies are who hate Yahuwah. Now, why I stop at the tabernacles of Edom? It is through the tabernacles of Edom that we got Christianity. And if you stretch it to the Ishmaelites, it's through the Ishmaelites in conjunction with the Edomites that we get the religion of Islam. All right? So, these people hate the Most High to the point where they want to cut off his nation, his people that he also loves. Which is equivalent to someone hates you so much that they are going after your child to kill your child. Right? No. Question to ask is, can these people who also hate Yahuwah, can these people give us religions that are true?
No.
Will the Elohim or the God that they be worshipping, will it be Yahuwah?
No.
Will never be. They will not. You don't worship who you hate. Right?
There's always a resentment.
There will always be a resentment to go bow down and say, oh, you are so great and so powerful. Oh, my master and my father. No, you're not going to do that. All right? And we have to establish now that these Edomites, the descendants of Edom, who dwelt in Mount Seir was their capital, I think. Or what's the other one? Purge. I don't remember the name of the place where they dwelt in the rocks. And it is from there, Edom, that they branched off and they end up merging with the Greeks and the Romans. And then the Romans, the British, the Germans, and the people now in America, they set up the same Edomite kingdom in America. Eh?
It's in Job 30. It's
Pardon?
in Job 30.
Job?
Job 30, where they, 30, where they dwell in the rocks. Yeah.
In the clefts of the rock. Let me find it.
Yeah.
And I have some pictures. So I have some pictures. If I knew that I was going here, I have some pictures of the architecture in Mount Seir and show how it is the exact architecture that is in Rome and that is in the United States and in England and even in the house in which I actually now dwell. The same exact architecture has been passed down. So you can just look at the architecture and know who they are. Clefts of the rock. Oh, that's Jeremiah? Yeah. Jeremiah 49:16. And in Obadiah. Oh, Obadiah is dedicated to Edom, so it's a better one to use. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? So, and we have them now today. Nothing has changed, They are so thus proud. They act as if they are invincible, and they are so great, they cannot be brought down. Which is why you have them speaking so boastfully and so pompously as if they control the world and the world is theirs, and as if they made it for themselves. And everyone else doesn't belong there. Yep. So we need to establish now that these Edomites had their own gods. The same people who gave us Christianity, they had their own mighty one. So them giving us that quote-unquote God, that the God of Christianity that they gave us, they had their own. Verse 14.
Verse 14. Now it came to pass, After that, Amaziah was come from the slaughter of the Edomites, that he brought the gods of the children of Ser.
Hold on
And
there. Mount Seir is actually referring to the land of the Edomites. All right. So he brought the gods of the children of Seir. So the children of Seir, or the Edomites, had their own God. And we're going to see the implication of this when you look at the very next verse. And continue. And set them up.
and set them up to be his gods, and bow down himself, before them, and burn incense unto them.
Remember, we're speaking about the parallel priesthood, the one that contrasts and contradicts Yahuwah. In the spirit of Cain, this is the same one. They have their own gods, and they bow down and burn incense unto them, just as the children of Israel burned incense unto Yahuwah. It's a parallel priesthood that looks so similar, and it is here today in the form of all the false religions. None more so than Christianity. So close, they brought it so close to the true belief. They have their Messiah, he's the son of Elohim. So many things they have in common, but it is a false one. So now we've established that the Edomites, we've established that the Edomites have their own gods. Let's see the implication of that. We'll go to Jeremiah 2, verse 11.
Jeremiah.
Ah, I learned no cleaning. 2, verse 11. Go.
Hath a nation changed their gods, which are yet no gods?
Okay, stop there. Hath a nation changed their gods, which are yet no gods? This is actually saying that the nations don't change their gods. So if the Edomites had their God, and the nations don't change their gods, that means that which they worship is not Yahuwah. Right? Hello?
Yes, I'm hearing.
Yes, yes.
Yes, that means it is not Yahuwah. And if it is not Yahuwah, and these nations, these Edomites gave us Christianity, that means the God of Christianity cannot be Yahuwah. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Simple reasoning, you know. This is ABC.
Mm-hmm.
ABC. It doesn't take a whiz kid to know. Then we go to Psalms 96, verse 5 now to see who the gods of these nations are. Psalm 96.
Well, Brian, before you move,
yeah.
The other part to Jeremiah, it says, but my people have changed their glory.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Oh, yes. We'll start it over.
Hath a nation changed their gods, which are yet no gods? But my people have changed their splendor for that which does not profit.
Okay, because they have gone on now to worship false idols.
Oh, okay.
So Yahuwah is their splendor or their glory, and they have exchanged him for those that do not profit, which are those dumb idols.
Okay.
So Psalm 96, verse 5. To show who or what the nature of the gods of these nations. Go ahead.
Psalms 96, verse 5. For all the gods of the nations are idols.
Stop there. Hey, I thank you, Yahweh. Your words are powerful, precept upon precept. So, if the Edomites gave us Christianity, the Edomites had their own gods, and all the gods of the nations are idols, that means the God of Christianity must also be an idol. Are you with me?
Yes, what does the term idol mean? Lifeless? What?
Yeah, let me get the exact definition and not give one out of my own understanding. Idols. Good for nothing. Vain or vanity. Specifically an idol, which is actually something that you built. No value. Thing of naught. So the word here actually means that, but it is actually a physical, something physical or something tangible that you actually worship.
So
Which
that
is
is why
actually,
they have the that music series, American Idol or something like that.
yes, yes, because what they do, they put up these people to be idols, and people worship
Oh,
them. Sometimes I see people sending all this, and it has gone right through into Jamaica. People asking you to vote for this and vote for that, and the people talking about these people and idolizing these people. It's the same thing. But as the meaning says, they are good for nothing. So start over verse 5 again.
verse 5. For all the gods of the nations are idols, but Yahuwah made the heavens.
Okay, Yahuwah is the only living Elohim. One true Elohim, the only one true Elohim. He made the heavens and the gods of the nations, the gods of the Edomites, Christian
Idols.
gods, all of them are idols. Now it gets even more interesting. 1 Corinthians 10.
Brian, you know I was reading that verse,
Yeah.
1 Corinthians 10.
When you were reading what?
I was reading First Corinthians 10.
Oh, confirmation. Confirmation. Verse 20.
Verse 20. But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils,
Stop there.
not.
The Gentiles, the heathen, the Edomites, everything, those that gave us those religions, those that gave us Christianity for our purposes, because we are predominantly Christian. The things that they sacrifice to whom?
Devils.
All right, and not to whom?
Yahuwah.
Okay. So these nations that gave us this religion now, full of the traditions of man, telling us to keep their Christmas, their Easter, their this and their that and their whatsoever, and we must not do this or must not do this. Totally in contrast and contrary to the word. The things that they sacrifice to devils and not to Yahuwah. Continue.
And I would not that he should have fellowship with devils.
Go ahead.
Ye cannot drink the cup of Yahuwah and the cup of devils. Ye cannot be partakers of Yahuwah's table and of the table of devils.
Okay, this is the same thing that I'm talking about now. The partakers of Yahuwah's table and of the table of devils, the two parallel priesthoods. The
Yeah,
evil
have
one
one foot out.
and the holy one. And this was the same thing when I said earlier, you cannot serve Yahuwah in Christianity. Ye cannot drink the cup of Yahuwah and the cup of devils. And I would not that ye should have fellowship with devils. You cannot be going in a Christian church where they're having fellowship with devils and then say you're serving Yahuwah because you have some truth. Impossible. You are a partaker of the unholy, evil priesthood. Verse 22 says,
Do we provoke Yahuwah to jealousy? Are we stronger than he?
this tells us that in doing this, we are provoking him to jealousy. And we know that when he is jealous, in his jealousy, his wrath abides with us. Are we stronger than he? That means our will cannot outdo him, not because we love church or because we love religion or because we love pastor or we love the brothers or we love this. That does not make us stronger than he. He is sovereign. He is the ultimate one. Right? All right. Now we're gonna look at a little longer extract to see the nature of the Gentiles when it comes to Yahuwah. To show that even when they are introduced to Yahuwah, they always go back to their gods. It confirms what it says in, I think, Jeremiah 2:11, when it says, "Hath a nation changed their gods that are not gods?" It shows that they will not change them. 2 Kings 17:28. Remember the topic is Yahuwah the Elohim or Elohim of everyone. Is he the Elohim of the whole world, as they claim in Christendom? 17:28. 2 Kings 17:38. Go ahead. Okay, let
Second,
me give a background on this. The background on this, just for the sake of time, I didn't want to read all of it. The background on this is when the Israelites were taken away captive in Assyria, and the Assyrians sent Assyrians to settle into the land. When they settled into the land, they were being attacked by lions, and someone told the Assyrians that it is because the new persons, Assyrians that are living there, do not know the customs of the land or the worship of the land. So they sent priests to show the Samaritans, the Assyrians who were now
Assyrians.
in Assyria, to show them how they should worship Yahuwah. All right? Verse 28.
Verse 28. Then one of the priests whom they had carried away from Samaria came and dwelt in Bethel, and taught them how they should fear Yahuwah. Howbeit every nation made gods of their own,
Stop
and
there.
put them.
Even though the priest came down, teach them how to fear Yahuwah, even though they knew that if they had false worship, they would be they would stand the threat of being torn by lions. What does it say in verse 29? Howbeit what?
Howbeit every nation made gods of their own.
Okay. So no matter that, they still made their own gods. Continue.
Howbeit every nation made gods of their own, and put them in the houses of the high places which the Samaritans had made, every nation in their cities wherein they dwelt.
So we see this is the traits of the nations. Even if you introduce them to the true Elohim, they are going to go back to their core way of worship. And notice they were not only satisfied to make Elohim of their own, they also had to put them in the high places, the places where they worship. All right? And it says every nation did it in their cities wherein they dwelt. So wherever they dwelt, everyone made their
Obedient
own
customs.
gods. Go ahead to verse 30.
Verse 13. And the men of Babylon made Succoth-Benoth, as it's
Succoth
pronounced,
Benoth. Succoth Benoth.
and the men of Goth made Nergal, and the men of Hamath made Ashima.
Go ahead.
And the Avitites made Nibhaz and Tartak, and the
And the
Sepharvites.
Sepharvites burnt their children in fire to Adramelech and Anamelech, the gods of Sepharim. So what we see here is that everyone had their own gods by name. And if you study the history of these gods, you realize that most of these gods, they have the same traits in different nations, but go under different names. All a part of this false priesthood, this false worship in the traits in the line of Cain, who presented an offering that was not pleasing unto Yahuwah.
But you did.
2 King, go verse 32.
Verse 32.
Yes.
So they feared Yahuwah and made unto themselves of the lower of them priests of the high places, which sacrifice for them in the houses of the high places.
Okay, look at this now. So even though they feared Yahuwah, they still had to make themselves priests of the high places. All right? Which sacrifice for them. So even though they feared Yahuwah, they still had someone sacrificing for them to these, their gods. Verse 33.
33.
Yes.
They feared Yahweh and served their own gods, after the manner of the nations who they carried away from thence.
So once again, even though they feared Yahuwah, they still serve their own gods, after the manner of the nations whom they carried away from thence. So there is no changing them. There is no changing them. And go to verse 34 and it tells you. Go ahead.
Verse 34. Unto this day they
Stop.
do.
Unto this day. This is telling you that they just continue to do it. There is no change. Continue.
Unto this day they do after the former manners. They fear not Yahweh, neither do they after their statutes. Sorry. Unto this day they do after the former manners. They fear not Yahweh, neither do they after their statutes, or after their ordinances, or after the law and commandments, which Yahweh had commanded the children of Jacob, whom he named Israel.
Okay. So it says they fear not Yahuwah. Previously, this it says they feared Yahuwah. So one might look into the different fear. This fear up here was they feared, not fear him to serve him, they were actually afraid of him. But this is saying that they do not fear him, they do not reverence him, right? So they do not go after the statutes and ordinances and commandments which Yahuwah commanded the children of Jacob, whom he named Israel. So we see that it is Israel alone. That is why he is the Elohim of Israel. Because, verse 35.
Verse 35.
Yeah.
With whom Yahweh had made a covenant, and charged them, saying, Ye shall not fear other gods, nor bow yourselves to them, nor serve them, nor sacrifice to them.
Okay. All right. So, Israel, he is the Elohim of Israel because he made a covenant with Israel. All right. And uh, verse 38.
Verse 38. And the covenant that I have made with you, ye shall not forget, neither shall ye fear other gods.
Yeah.
Continue.
Yeah.
But Yahuwah your Elohim ye shall fear. He shall deliver you out of the hand of all your enemies. Howbeit they did not hearken, but they did after their former manner. So these nations fear Yahuwah and serve their graven images, both their children and their children's children, as did their fathers, so do they unto this day.
In other words, nothing has changed from generation to generation. The nations are going to serve their own gods. They might fear Yahuwah, but nothing is going to deter them from serving their gods. So when we get a religion from these people do not worship the Most High Yahuwah Sabaoth. They worship their gods. So when we get something from them, it is a trick in order to get us to worship their gods. Second Chronicles 13:9. This is going to be a kind of backing this up. Because we want to show that the nation, the gods that they serve, is not actually Yahuwah. That is the point I'm making with these verses, this scripture. Because if we show that it is not Yahuwah, then we know that Yahuwah is not their Elohim. Second Chronicles 13:9.
Have ye not cast out the priests of Yahuwah, the son of Aaron, and the Levites, and have made you priests after the manner of the nations of other lands?
Oh, stop there now. So we see again the parallel priesthood. The priests of Yahuwah, the sons of Aaron, and the Levites are the holy priesthood of Israel, the holy priesthood of Yahuwah, the royal priesthood, the holy nation. And Israel have cast out this holy priesthood and have opted for the priests
Of other lands.
after the manner of the nations of other lands. This is the parallel priesthood, the evil one, the one in the tradition of Cain. Go ahead.
So that whosoever cometh to consecrate himself with a young bullock and 7 rams, the same may be a priest of them that are no gods.
All right. So what you're saying about the parallel priesthood is that there is a stark similarity between both. Between both of them, there's a similarity because they will also come to consecrate with a young bullock and 7 rams, just as the children of Israel did. All right? But they do it for their gods. So that is why when we tell people about Christianity, Christianity is false and it is wrong. Oh, don't you worship the same God? It's the same thing. There's not much difference and all not. No. They are going to make it parallel. They're going to make it so similar and so subtle that it's going to look like it's nothing wrong. It's the same.
Friends.
Pardon?
They're going to make it seem as if there's no big difference or it's not a big deal.
Yes. All right.
Verse 10?
No. Just verse 9. We just want to establish that this parallel priesthood and and how close they all usually make it to the real thing. Right? And I go back to Jeremiah 2:11 again. This is what verse to keep in mind. Very, very important for our sake. And I'll just read it. Hath a nation changed their gods, which are yet not God, no gods? But my people have changed their splendor for that which doth not profit. All right? And this has been the tradition of the children of Israel right throughout. Judges 10:6. Always going after the gods of the nations. And the gods of the nations are always trying to get Israel to go after their gods. Judges 10:6.
Judges 10 verse 6. And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of Yahuwah, and served Baalim and Ashtaroth and the gods of Syria.
Okay, stop there. This Baalim, you see? Same Baal. This is the Lord of Christianity. Baalim is Baal, and Baal is the Lord. All right? Just want to establish that. And Ashtaroth. This Ashtaroth is Ishtar or Easter. This is the Easter. This is the goddess that is celebrated, the Queen of Heaven, which is celebrated at Easter in Christianity. Same Asherah, Astoret, Venus, Aphrodite, Diana of Ephesus, Mary, Mother of God. The list goes on. Cybele, all of them, all of these are the same goddess in different languages. That is how they do it. Because when the Tower of Babel, here's how it comes about like that. At the Tower of Babel, all of them spoke one language, so they all had their gods in their same name. But when they were dispersed from Babel, they went to different countries, their different areas with their different languages, and they had the same gods and goddesses in mind, but because of the different languages, they pronounce them differently in different languages. So that is why you have the same gods and goddesses with different names in different countries. And which is why Jesus Christ, there were Christs before the Messiah was made, came on earth. You had Serapis, Christus, you had Dionysus, Christus, you had Mithras, Christus Mithras. You had Krishna in India, which Krishna means Christ. So these names that they use, if we don't understand languages and all of that, we will get confused and into thinking that it's authentic. So when I am calling my Messiah Jesus Christ, I am actually calling him the name of the God of another nation. And we know Yahuwah said we must not worship him that way, calling on the names of other gods. We must not even mention it in our mouths. All right? So we have to understand the nations and continue on the gods of Syria.
And the gods of Syria, and the gods of Edom, and the gods of Moab, and the gods of the children of Ammon, and the gods of the Philistines, and forsook Yahuwah and served him not.
All right. So here's the thing now. The point is here now. Every nation has their own gods. Yahuwah is not the Elohim of these nations. He is the creator of the heaven and the earth, but they have rejected his holy priesthood, and they have followed after the unholy priesthood, and therefore he is not the Elohim of the unholy priesthood. He is the Elohim of the holy priesthood which he chose, which is the priesthood of the children of Israel. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Israel has always been doing this. Always. And let me tell you why Israel has always been doing this. And
I was about to ask.
I'm going to tell you why. Steve had spoken on it maybe last week or the week before. Was it 8 or 10? 10.
Is it the one where it says that they wanted a king to rule over them and they didn't want Yahuwah?
Our verse 8. This one is I got it. I'll know what to look for. This is the same Ishtar or Easter. It's about the same Ishtar or Easter. 44:17. All right, here it is. When the children of Israel, when Jeremiah went to speak to the children of Israel about the worship of God, I think he was going into Egypt. Yes, which are gone into the land of Egypt, right? And he was speaking to them about the worship of the Queen of Heaven, which is Astoret or Asherah or all of those, Holy Mary, Mother of God, and all of those people. All right? When he was speaking to them about it, here's what they said, verse 17.
But we will certainly do whatsoever thing goeth forth out of our own mouth, to burn incense unto the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto her, as we have done, we and our fathers, our kings and our princes, in the cities of Judah, and in the streets of Jerusalem. For then had we plenty of victuals, and were well, and saw no evil.
Okay. So you see it?
Nothing came after what they were doing, so they think it was okay, so they continue to do it.
Right.
No, they lacked nothing. They had plenty of victuals. They had plenty. And they saw no evil. Right? When in Psalm 73, Psalm 73, the treatment of sinners and of Yahuwah set apart people are totally opposite. Right? Psalm 73. Let me see. All right. Read from verse 1.
Verse 1.
Yeah.
Truly Elohim is Yahuwah is good to Israel, even to such as are of a clean heart. But as for me, my feet were almost gone, my steps had well nigh slipped. For I was envious at that foolish, when I saw at the foolish, when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. Don't move it, Brian. For there are no bands in their but their strength is firm. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Therefore, pride compasseth them about as a chain, violence covereth them as a garment.
Oh, stop there. So we see it was envious at the foolish because guess what?
They have everything in abundance.
Their strength is firm. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Go ahead.
Verse 5. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Therefore, pride compasseth them about as a chain, violence covereth them as a garment. Their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than heart could wish.
Okay. So everything good is happening for them. Right? Because they are not under the covering of Yahuwah. They have chosen to reject Yahuwah, and we will see why this is happening to them very soon. Go ahead, continue.
They are corrupt, and they speak wickedly concerning oppressions. They speak loftily. They set their mouth against the heavens, and their tongue walketh through the earth. Therefore, his people return thither, and waters of a full cup are wrung out on them, or to them.
Okay, hold on there. Verse 11.
Verse 11. And they say, how doth Yahuwah know? And is there knowledge in the Most High? Behold, these are the ungodly who prosper in the world. They increase in riches. Verily, I have cleansed my heart in vain and washed my hands in innocence.
Okay, so David is saying, I'm very truly, I am walking in righteousness in vain because the ungodly are just prospering. I am struggling, and the ungodly are just prospering. All right. Go ahead, and we'll see what happened to David.
Verse 14. For all the day long have I been plagued and chastened every morning. If I say I will speak thus, behold, I should offend against the generation of thy children. When I thought to know this, it was too painful for me. Up some more, Brian.
Yeah.
Until I went unto the sanctuary of Yahuwah, then understood I their end. Surely thou didst set them in slippery places, thou castest them down into destruction.
Okay. So here is how Yahuwah works now. Yahuwah is a righteous Elohim, and he's a just Elohim. He gives everybody their time of, what should I say now?
Yeah.
There's
Everybody,
a time and place for everything under the sun.
yeah, every dog, in Jamaica they say every dog have them day.
Right.
So everyone has their time to have fun. The wicked are going to live powerfully, rich, successful, for a short time. Right? So what David was describing here is the time that they have on this earth. Because they have no time in the kingdom to come. So the Most High, being just giving them what the pleasures of today. All right? But David said it is a slippery slope. Where are we?
Verse 18.
18. Yes, surely thou didst set them in slippery places. Thou castest them down in this destruction. So when they go into destruction, that's it for them. A quick destruction and they're gone. Verse 19.
Verse 19. How are they brought into desolation, as in a moment? They are utterly consumed with terrors, as a dream when one awaketh. So, O Yahuwah, when thou awakest, thou shalt despise their image.
All right. So I guess that is it for to get that, and we'll see the difference now with how he handles um his set apart people.
But question, Brian.
Yeah.
It says that David was envious of them
Yes.
because they were so prosperous.
Yeah.
Isn't that a wrong thing?
Isn't it be wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is wrong to be envious. But I guess he wasn't saying that he was envious, but then there is this initial moment
Mm-hmm.
that you look and say, how them a live so we a live so.
Okay.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't describing a point that he's there envious and every day he's just being no, he's just momentarily saying, how comes they are living like this?
Yeah, in other words, he probably saying, I'm serving you, and they're not serving you, and they're
Yes,
prospering, and I'm not. Yeah, kind of that.
yes. Well, you know that
Mm-hmm.
me try this thing are not working well. Let's try search it here. So I know it's Hebrews of 4, I think. And we'll see the difference between Hebrews 12.
Mm-hmm.
The difference between how he deals with them and with us. And this is why we have to go through our struggles. And this is why, go ahead, verse 6.
Verse 6.
No, don't go to 6. Verse 3.
Verse 3. For consider him that endureth such contradiction of sinners against himself, lest he be wearied and faint in your minds.
So
He have
our people are going to be weary. Those in righteousness at times might feel weary when the problems and the trials and everything are coming upon us.
true.
The writer was saying here, you're saying something, Queenie?
No, I'm saying true.
Oh, the writer was saying here that let's consider Yahusha, who died for sinners, and yet sinners were scourging him. And he's saying that you haven't yet been to that level. So because you have not yet been to that level, be strong. Verse 4.
Verse 4. He have not yet resisted unto blood, striving against sin.
In other words, your problem that you have is nothing compared to what the Messiah went through. All right? So cheer up. It's not all that bad. Verse 5.
Verse 5. And he have forgotten the exhortation which speaketh unto us as unto children.
Okay,
My son,
okay. As unto children. This is how he deals with his children. Go ahead with my son.
my son, despise not thou thy chastening of Yahuwah, nor faint when thou art rebuked of him.
Okay, so this is why the unrighteous are going through their cruising mode, having everything easy, everything nice. They do not go through the chastening because they are not his children. His children have to be chastened, and chastened let me get the meaning here first.
Rub them down.
Pardon?
Rub them down and smooth them out.
Yeah, man. Chastened. Chastening means tutorage, that is education or training. By implication, disciplinary correction. All right? Instruction, nurture. So because we are his children, he nurtures us up with discipline. So the tough times that we are going through is actually him disciplining us to get us to a higher level of righteousness, to make us better and stronger, right? But the sinners, they don't go through that because they don't need to go through that because they are not his sons. Verse 6.
Verse 6. For whom Yahuwah loveth, he chasteneth. He scourgeth every son whom he receiveth.
Okay, so whomever he loves, those who are called by his name, who walk in accordance to his will, who strive to walk in righteousness, he will chasten them, right? So the children of Israel, and we're speaking to Jeremiah about the Queen of Heaven, they did not want the chastening. They wanted the free, easy life, which is why they chose to go after the Queen of Heaven. And when they go after the Queen of Heaven, then Yahuwah will reject them, and they will come into the blessings that come with sinners, which are blessings that are only temporal.
Okay.
Only for a time. But the scourging is to get us to the point where we are able and willing to enter the kingdom. When we are able and fit to enter into the kingdom, and from that kingdom, we will have eternal life.
So scourge would be like the final stage.
No, man, scourging is a kind of as a rougher than chastening. Let me give you the meaning here. When you scourge someone, we're at verse 6. Scourge is to flog. Right?
Okay.
That means you get whipping.
Get a beating.
Yes. So he whips and beats every son whom he receives. All of us need to pay attention to this. So this is the disparity now with the nations, and this is the reason why Israel has always been going a whoring after other gods. They are not willing to suffer for the time being in order for eternal life. And we must understand that this is how Yahuwah works. Look how the Messiah suffered. Go ahead.
I was saying that what you just said in terms of Israel not wanting to suffer, it would kind of similar to today's date where most Jamaicans are trying to run off to America because it's easy life and they're suffering here in Jamaica.
Yes.
They can't do that.
And not only that, I thought you were going into the same religious thing. This is why the prosperity doctrine prospers. And this is why Yahuwah allows them to prosper. Because once they go over to that side and start going over the side of sinners, this prosperity thing and everything, Yahuwah locks them off from their eternal life. And so they get their rewards now. Which was why one of the time the Messiah said, verily, they have their reward. Right? And he said, set your affection on things above, things that are heavenly. Right? So when you set your affections on that, then it is eternal. It is not temporal. Understand?
Yeah.
Let me get another verse. Well, all right. Here we see it again in 2 Corinthians verse 18. While we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. All right? They are looking at the things that are seen. They want no. They want to live for no. They want their life no. They want to be comfortable no. They want their blessings no. But that is not what we should do. We should look at the things that are not seen. And why? Read Queenie. For the things which are seen are temporal. temporary, but the things which are not seen are eternal. This is the thing for us. If we are looking at today, looking to live comfortable today, right? Then we need to go over to the other side. But over this side, we look at the things that are eternal. And when we look at the things that are eternal, it comes with chastening. It comes with scourging, and we have to make up our minds to take it, or else we are going to fold. All right? Okay?
All right.
Here, Brian.
All right. Now, going back to the lab, going back to where we were.
Is for the Elohim of everyone.
Joshua 23:7. Because these nations have us calling on the names of their mighty ones. As I said, I did an article entitled "Who is the God of Fortune?" Right? That God that they call the Christian God, that everyone seems to think that the mighty one is God. That God is none other than the God of fortune or the God of luck. And they have us calling that name. Each time we call it, we give honor to that mighty one. Verse 7.
Verse 7. That he come not among these nations, these that remain among you, neither make mention of the name of their gods, nor cause to swear by them, neither serve them, nor bow yourselves unto them.
All
But
right.
cleave unto Yahuwah your Elohim, as he have done unto this day.
Okay. So this is saying that we must not make mention of the name of their gods. This is a problem. This is something I can't understand about like the Hebrew Israelites. They are into so much knowledge, yet still the knowledge of the name of Elohim, they keep using the names, calling the Messiah Jesus Christ and calling the Most High God. Even though the Most High made it very clear that he doesn't even want it to be mentioned in our mouths, the names of other gods. And this is something that we should not do. As soon as we figure out and find out that if those are false, flawed names, we should stop mentioning them. All right?
Probably are using it to relate to others, I guess.
Fine?
Probably are using it so they can get others relate to what they're saying, I guess.
No, there's a way to do that.
Okay.
I do that by saying who you call God, or who the King James Version refers to as God, who you may know as God, or you whom you may call God. That is how I do it. So I use the correct name. I say Yahuwah, who you call God. You understand?
Yes.
Which of course is not actually technically 100% correct, because Yahuwah is not God. But for their purposes, I just say that in order to get them to understand that he has a name, you know, as a starting point. All right. So we're going to get to the meat of the matter now, which is to show that Yahuwah is the Elohim of Israel only. Only the Elohim of Israel and not of the nations. Because from what we have said so far, we should have been able to surmise that he is not the Elohim of the nations. That they have their different Elohims and he is not Yahuwah. And that they will not change their Elohim no matter what and no matter how much time passes. They pass them down from their children to their children's children to their children's children. Right?
From one generation to the next.
Yes. So let's go to verse Joel 2:27. Joel 2:27.
And ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and though that I am Yahuwah your Elohim, and none else.
Stop there.
And my
Stop there. Ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel. That is, Yahuwah is in the midst of Israel, in the middle of Israel. Right? And that I am Yahuwah, your.
Elohim,
He's addressing Israel. Your Elohim. And what does it say? And what?
none else, nobody else, no other nation.
Oh. So how comes he's the Elohim, or the quote-unquote God of everybody? Continue after the colon and see what it says. And what?
And my people
Hold on
shall
there. And who?
my people,
Okay. So who are his people?
Israel.
Oh, I thought it was everybody. I thought it was everyone. He was the Elohim of everyone. Yeshayahu 49:26. I'm just going to give some verses that show explicitly
Isaiah.
that he is the Elohim of Israel. 49:26. Elohim of Israel only. 49:26.
And I will feed them that oppress thee with their own flesh, and they shall be drunken with their own blood, as with sweet wine. And all flesh shall know that I am Yahuwah, and thy Savior,
Oh, stop
and
there.
thy
Stop. All flesh shall know. That means every nation shall know that I, who?
Yahuwah,
Okay, I'm what?
thy Savior,
Thy is referring to who?
Israel,
Okay, and thy,
thy Redeemer.
this not referring to the world. The world gonna stand by and see, right? The mighty one of who?
Jacob, the mighty one of Israel.
Not the mighty one of the whole world. He is the mighty one of Israel. 1 Samuel 17:45. That Christian God, the God of the whole world, is none other than Satan himself, masking as an angel of light. Most High Yahuwah Sabaoth is the Elohim of Israel. All the gods have their own, nations have their own gods. 1 Samuel 17:45.
Then said David to the Philistine, Thou comest to me with a sword, and with a spear, and with a shield. But I come to thee in the name of Yahuwah of hosts, the Elohim of the armies of Israel, who thou hast defied.
Okay, the Elohim of the armies of Israel.
Israel.
Not the Elohim of the armies of the world, or everyone in the world, or every nation. The Elohim of the armies of Israel. We on this in this group, I don't think we have even come to grasp with how fortunate we are.
True.
How fortunate we are for the Most High Creator of all things to claim Himself to be ours and ours only.
Yeah.
This is why I told you I saw the video with the Edomite lady that's saying that she's made it her point to keep going out and telling the African Americans who they are, that they are the chosen children of Israel. And she said, I would give my left foot to be the chosen, to be one of the chosen. And you are taking it for nothing. Chronicles, First Chronicles 17:21. Let's continue. We see all this love that this Elohim has for us and how he has preferred us and chosen us and set us apart. And we are taking it for a joke, which is why he always gets angry. First Chronicles 17:21.
Verse 21.
Yeah.
And what one nation in the earth is like thy people of Israel?
Okay.
Whom Yahuwah
What one nation in the earth
Is
is
like
like
that.
thy people Israel? So all those people saying all are equal.
There's
Nothing of
nobody
the
like
sort.
us.
All right. Go ahead.
And what one nation in the earth is like thy people Israel, whom Yahuwah went to redeem to be his own people.
Hold
To
on,
make
hold on, hold on, hold on. Whom Yahweh went to redeem to be what?
to be
His
his own
own
people.
And who is he speaking about?
Israel.
Israel, of course.
All right. So how come he's the God of everybody? How come he never said he redeemed everybody? Go ahead. To make.
To make thee a name of greatness and terribleness by driving out nations from before thy people, whom thou hast redeemed out of Egypt.
Go ahead.
For thy people Israel didst thou make thine own people
Stop
forever.
there. For thy people Israel didst thou make thine
Thine
own people forever. Forever. No other nation. Thy people Israel. Continue.
and thou Yahuwah becamest their Elohim.
All right. 23.
Verse 23. Therefore now, Yahuwah, let the thing that thou hast spoken concerning thy servant and concerning his house be established forever, and do as thou hast said.
Continue.
Let it even be established that thy name may be magnified forever, saying, Yahuwah of hosts is the Elohim of Israel.
Stop there. Yahuwah Sabaoth is the Elohim of the whole world.
No, the Elohim of Israel.
Or the Elohim of the Edomites.
Nope.
The Elohim of
Israel.
Israel. Continue.
Even an Elohim of Israel, and let the house of David, thy servant, be established before thee.
Okay. So we see Yahuwah Sabaoth is the Elohim of Israel, and it underlined it by emphasizing even an Elohim to Israel. It's saying it twice. Right? Yeshayahu 29:23.
Jeremiah.
Which one that is Queenie?
Jeremiah.
No. Yeshayahu.
Psalms.
No, Isaiah.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Go ahead.
29, verse 23.
Yeah.
But when he seeth this his children, the work of mine hands in the midst of him, they shall sanctify my name and sanctify the Holy One of Jacob, and shall fear the Elohim of Israel.
All right. The Holy One of Jacob, and shall fear the Elohim of the whole world.
Nope,
The Elohim of
of Israel.
Israel. Yeshayahu again 41:17. Just giving us some things that definitively tell us that he's not the Elohim of everyone. And it is very important because when you read the Bible, on the premise that he is the Elohim of everyone, you get a totally different meaning. This is how the false priesthood is set up. It is set up on the premise of the Elohim being the Elohim of everyone. But the real priesthood is a set apart holy people, a holy nation, a royal priesthood that belongs only to the Most High, separate and set apart from the rest of the world. 17, go ahead.
Verse 17. When the poor and needy seek water, and there is none, and their tongue faileth for thirst, I, Yahuwah, will hear them. I, the Elohim of Israel, will not forsake him.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Okay. So, I, Yahuwah, the Elohim of everyone, will not forsake them. Ah, boy. Yes, sir. The Elohim of Israel. Yeshayahu again. 45:3. Go ahead.
45 verse 3. And I will give thee the treasures of darkness and hidden riches of secret places, that thou mayest know that I, Yahuwah, which call thee by my name, am the
Elohim of everyone.
of Israel.
Of Israel.
And I will give the treasures of darkness and hidden riches of secret places.
So he's speaking to Israel there, right?
Yes. And this is speaking of end times, that thou mayest know that I, Yahuwah, which call thee by name, Israel, am the Elohim
Of Israel.
of Israel. So let's go more to the end time to
And
see if
45 to verse 4.
Yeah.
For Jacob my servant's sake,
Yes.
and Israel mine.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Go ahead. Let's go through it.
For Jacob my servant's sake, and Israel mine elect, I have even called thee by thy name. I have surnamed thee, though thou hast not known me.
Yes, so because of Jacob, for the sake of Jacob, because of the promise that he made to Jacob, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, he elected Israel, called them by name, surnamed them, all right? And he became their Elohim. He is the Elohim of Israel. 45. Let's continue to 45. 5.
Verse 5. I am Yahuwah, and there is none else. There is no Elohim besides me. I girded thee, though thou hast not known me.
All right. He is Yahuwah, and there is none else. There is no other Elohim, and there is no other Elohim beside me, which goes back to the point in it said, all the gods of the nations are idols. All right.
And they are lower than him.
But Yahuwah made heavens and the earth. Verse 6.
Verse 6. That they may know from the rising of the sun and from the west that there is none beside me. I am Yahuwah, and there is none else.
Go to 7.
I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, Yahuwah, do all these things.
Why did he create evil?
Yay.
Why did he create evil?
For the day of destruction.
Yeah, that is one of them.
For a choice.
For us to make choice.
Yes. For there to be parallel choices. Right? Because good cannot be good unless there is bad. Good cannot be good unless there is evil. We cannot choose good unless we have a choice with evil. You cannot set apart a people out of this earth and ask them to make choices if there is not good and evil. All right?
But when did he create evil?
Well, that is a good question. That is a good question, which I don't want to get into because that's going to go up on a tangent.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe one day we can deal with it. That is too deep.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
Yeah. All right. So, because we don't want to go off on a tangent now, we want to continue to show that in the end time, he will still be the Elohim of Israel. Yeshayahu 52, verse 12. Verse 12. This is speaking of the end time gathering. All right?
For he shall not go out with haste, nor go by flight. For Yahuwah will go before you, and Yahuwah of Elohim of Israel will be your reward.
Your
Reward.
reward or your rear guard. Now this is matching the end time deliverance with the deliverance of the children of Israel out of Egypt. Remember, out of Egypt, our people went out in haste, which is why you have the feast of unleavened bread when the bread was not leavened, because they didn't have time to put down the bread to be leavened. All right? Nor by flight, which is when the Egyptians are pursuing them. All right? But he's saying at the end time deliverance, Yahuwah will go before us, just as he did when he went through the wilderness, pillar of cloud by day and a fire by night. Right? He will do it once again. And it says, and the Elohim of Israel will be your rear guard or your rear reward. So he will go before us and he will be behind us. And he will be in the end time the same Elohim of
Israel.
Okay. Now let's see it in the New Testament, because these our Christocentric minds have been programmed to believe that if it is not in the New Testament, then it is invalid. Right? So let's go to Matthew 15:31.
Matthew.
Yeah.
Show down it easy.
Easy. Yeah. Go ahead.
15 verse 31.
Yeah.
It's so much that the multitude wondered when they saw the dumb to speak, the maimed to be whole, the lame to walk, and the blind to see, and they glorified the Elohim of Israel.
Okay.
Hey.
So in the New Testament, he is still the
The
Elohim
Elohim of Israel.
of Israel. Wow, why isn't he the Elohim of everyone? Right?
I didn't lie, sir. Didn't lie.
Yeah, man. Is this false priesthood, this parallel priesthood, this evil Satan setting up himself as an angel of light, Satan exalting himself above the clouds. I will be like the Most High. This is what it's all about.
But even when you're reading the Bible, it
Yeah.
is the word Israel is still there. Even if they change the version, 21st century version, King James version, the word Israel is still there.
Yeah.
All right, let's take it from a Christian perspective. A Christian perspective would tell you where you see the name Israel, it's a spiritual Israel that you are looking at.
Yeah,
How
but
do you address someone with that mindset? That they don't have a problem with and believing that they're Israelites, they're Hebrews rather, but the Israelite part has them bound because they're thinking that, and for the sake of people watching or listening, they think that it's a spiritual Israel that the Most High is talking about.
all right, all right. I'd ask him to show me where where it is prophesied that there will be a spiritual Israel, and where in the New Testament it shows that spiritual Israel.
Okay, to explain to me Romans 2. I don't
Romans
remember
what?
where, but chapter 2.
Romans 2.
Hold on, let me see where in Romans 2, because that's where I was. Let's see, excuse me, sorry. Romans chapter, I think it's chapter 2.
You mean like verse 11, for there is no respect of first to the Jew first and to the Gentile?
I think before that.
Oh.
Before that, Romans 2. Hold on. Jesus thinking one to be the judgment for recognizing us. Kindness, wrath, we will say. Position. Golly, I know it's in here somewhere.
Boy, I had a verse.
Okay. Okay. All right, here we go. Verse 28. It's after that. Verse 28. Chapter 2, verse 28 and 29. So it says, for a person is not a Jew who is one outwardly.
Which chapter?
Verse 2,
Romans 2.
chapter 2.
Oh, chapter 2.
Yes.
Yeah, verse 28 and 29. For a person, I'm reading it from where my HDSB version. For a person is not a Jew who is one outwardly, and true circumcision is not something visible in the flesh. On the contrary, a person is a Jew who is one inwardly, and circumcision is of the heart by the Spirit, not the letter. That man's praise is not from men, but from Elohim.
Okay. So, what Shaul is actually saying, he is not saying that anyone can be a Jew. He is saying that a Jew has to have the circumcised heart. And let me get some precepts together. For is not a Jew, which is one inwardly. And let me see if I can get it. No. Hold on, I just trying to find the precepts. I think it's Jeremiah. Let me first go to what Jeremiah 31. Circumcision of the heart, Judith. You don't remember to find it? And circumcision is of the heart.
Oh.
It's in Ezekiel and it's in Jeremiah.
I think, yeah, in Ezekiel. Let me try to find it in Ezekiel.
I'll find it before you. No? Oh, no. All right, 36:26, Ezekiel. All right. A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you. And I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and will give you an heart of flesh. And I will put my spirit within you, and cause you to walk in my statutes, and you shall keep my judgments and do them. And ye shall dwell in the land that I gave to your fathers. This is why it's important to use precepts. Here, Bernie? Are you there? Sister Bernie?
Oh, sorry. I thought I wasn't on. Yeah, I was saying yes. I am hearing you.
Okay, it's important to use precepts because when Shaul was speaking to the Romans, he was actually speaking to Israelites. And I'm going to go back and show you in the introduction to Romans where it actually tells us indirectly. But here we go back to what you were saying. Let's go back to what you were saying. He is not a Jew, which is one outwardly. Neither is that circumcision which is outward in the flesh. But he is a Jew, which is one inwardly, and circumcision is that of the heart, in the spirit, and not in the letter, whose praise is not of men, but of Yahuwah. What Shaul was referencing here was the circumcision of the heart that Ezekiel and Jeremiah spoke about and prophesied about. He was interpreting for them that no, it doesn't matter if you are a Jew and you are only circumcised outwardly, but it has to be in the heart and in the spirit. So what we have to do, we have to go back to the prophecy and to see to whom the prophecy was addressed, if it was addressed to everyone. So let's go to the prophecy. Read verse 26, Queenie.
Verse 26.
Yeah.
A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you. And I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you a heart of flesh.
This is the circumcision of the heart that Shaul was speaking about. All right? And here the spirit comes in now. Go ahead. 27.
And I will put my spirit within you, and cause you to walk in my statutes, and ye shall keep my commandments, my judgments, and do them. And ye shall dwell in the land that I gave to your fathers, and ye shall be my people, and I will be your Elohim.
Okay, so what we are talking about now is Elohim of Israel only, right? And he's telling you, these people that he's speaking to, who Shaul was referring to, were Israelites. Because
Right.
only Israelites is speaking about the land that I gave to your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right? And ye shall be... Pardon?
It's in Ezekiel 11 and 9 as well.
Yes.
Because these Israelites, they were in Rome, right? And
yes.
They lived there for a long time, so they really forgot the tradition. Like we know in this time, you're telling them they're Israelite, they got to do this, you know?
Yeah.
It's like the same thing, you know? Some of us right now feel like once we circumcise, once we, you know, we are Israelites, that's it. We got, you know, we don't have to live the life or keep the laws. You know, so, some of them think that way too, you know, because they're Israelites. That's about it. You know, but there are things that we got to do. We got to like be circumcised from the heart, not just the skin part alone, like especially with the men, you know, because we are women too. We don't circumcise, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So circumcision has to be from
in the heart.
Heart.
Yeah, heart.
Yeah. Oh, I'm trying. There was one verse that would just wrap up everything, and I didn't save it. Ah, got you. Where you going? Got him. Oh, let's go to Romans. Go back to Romans 2. Let's go to Romans 1. All right?
Here I am. I'm in Romans 1 and Romans 2. Cool.
Okay. No. Romans 1 verse 3.
Verse 3.
Yeah.
Concerning his son, Yahusha our master, which was made of the seed of David according to the flesh, and declared to be the son of Elohim with power, according to the spirit of holiness, by the resurrection from the dead.
Yeah.
By whom we have received grace and apostleship for the obedience of the faith to the faith among all nations for his name, among who are ye also called Yahusha Amashiach. To all that be in Rome, beloved of Elohim, called to be saints.
Okay. To all that be in Rome, this is whom the letter was addressed to, right? Beloved of Yahuwah. We know that the Israelites are beloved, but that is not the point. Here's the point. Called to be saints. So this letter to the Romans is addressed to those who are called to be saints. Now is
Who is a
everyone...
saint?
A saint is a holy one, set apart. Holy one.
Okay.
Right? And we know the royal priesthood, a holy nation. Only his people can be, only Israelites can be saints. But that is not the point. They were called to be saints. This letter was addressed to those who were called to be saints. So when he was speaking in Romans 2, talking about no Jews, is that one inwardly. He's speaking to those who were called to be saints, right? Right?
Right.
Right, Bernie?
Yes, I'm listening.
Okay, so let's see now the definition of saints. Let's look at the definition of who a saint is. Is everyone a saint?
No. Mother Teresa? No.
Ah,
No.
is everyone a saint?
No.
Well, let's see the Bible. Let the Bible tell us. Read verse 14.
Verse 14. He also exalted the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints, even of the children of Israel.
Stop there. Stop there. His praise of all his saints, even of the children of Israel. So this here, this all here, is telling us that all his saints are of the
Israel.
children of
Israel.
Oh. Continue. A people.
A people near unto him, praise ye Yahuwah.
You people, we don't even have an idea of how much love, of how fortunate we are, you know. All his saints are of the children of Israel. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So when we go back to Romans now, and it says, to all that be in Rome, beloved of Yahuwah, called to be saints, he is speaking to the children of
Israel.
So when we go now to Romans 2, verse 20 something, and says,
28, 29.
and says he's not a Jew, which is one outwardly, neither is a circumcision, which is in the flesh. He is speaking to Israelites who believe that all they have to do is be an Israelite or be a Jew, and they are good. Shaul is telling them, no, you have to be converted. You have to walk in the Messiah. You have to walk in the Spirit. You cannot, it is not enough to be a Jew, which is why Shaul said in another place, it is not all Israel that are Israel. And he always also confirmed that a remnant shall be saved. That is what he's saying.
Circumcision of the skin, I think he says, avail it nothing or something like that.
Yes. Because there are always this thing, even today, people be like, oh, I am an Israelite, and that's it. No, you have to walk, you have to be walking in righteousness through belief in the Messiah. That's what Shaul was telling them. Right? He was speaking to the circumcision, those who just believe that circumcision is all. I am a Jew, I'm an Israelite, I'm circumcised. And I do this in the law, and I do that in the law. That's what he was saying. So you got it, Bernie?
Yeah. But here's another question.
Yeah.
How do they get from the Most High calling out a whole nation to the New Testament in them saying that it's a spiritual Israel he's talking about? How did they get from a nation to him saying, okay, so now it was a nation back then in the Tanakh, but now since Jesus came and Jesus did this, Jesus did that, now it's a spiritual thing. I don't get the transformation.
All right, it's simple. One word, religion. The most High called a nation All right?
Not this one.
And the rest of the nations are exempt. But it's the time of the Gentiles, and they got the scripture, and they have the scripture. They have to find a way to fit themselves in. No, they cannot be an Israelite. So they have to find some way to get themselves in, which is why they come with this spiritual thing. You got it?
Yeah, but how they got to trick me though? I mean, I'm just looking.
It's a part of the curse.
Ah, thank you, Queenie.
How the heck they got to trick me? I mean, I read a lot.
It no matter. Jeremiah
But they
17,
good.
Jeremiah 17:4. Read, Queenie.
And though even thyself shall discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For he have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever.
All right. Ye shall discontinue from thine heritage. You couldn't be different from everyone else. All of us have to be tricked, you see? Because the Most High allowed it to be so. You shall not, you must not know. The Most High said, the Most High said he ordained that you would not know. Verse 2, Queenie.
Verse 2. Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, for Yahweh has spoken. I have nourished and brought up the children, and they have rebelled against me. The ox knoweth his owner, the ass his master's crib. But Israel doth not know, my people doth not consider.
All right. So, Bernie, you must have been at the point where you didn't know the cable to charge it. And you don't consider. So you would have to have been in darkness. All right?
Yeah.
So this is the calling out now of this darkness that we are in.
Can I
Praise
add something?
Yahweh.
Yeah, go ahead, Steve. Welcome.
Let's go to
Welcome, Steve.
thank you. Let's see if anything spiritual about this. Let's go to Revelation 12, verse 1. And tell me if this is spiritual.
Verse 1.
Well, could you find the one? I have a computer where you said the 12 gates.
Oh, the 12 gates. Oh,
Yeah.
that's Revelation 21:12.
Yeah, 21:12. There you go. Thank you.
Yeah.
And tell me if anything spiritual about this. As we get deceived by everything is spiritual when it comes to certain things.
Yeah.
So what's spiritual about this? Go ahead.
And had a wall great and high, and had 12 gates.
How many gates?
12 gates.
12 gates. Go ahead.
And at the gates 12 angels, and
Yes.
names written thereon,
Uh-huh.
which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel.
No, the 12 tribes plus the other nations.
No.
No, read it again. Maybe you're reading it wrong. Go ahead.
And had a wall great
Uh-huh.
and high,
Uh-huh.
and had 12 gates, and at the gates 12 angels, and names written thereon.
Hold on. Paul is not waiting for me at the pearly gate right there. He said 12 angels, to not one or two. 12, right? Not a lie. Go ahead. Not a lie. Go ahead.
Which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel.
The 12
Spiritual
tribes
Israelites.
plus the other nations. So it should be 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
Sure.
So there's no such thing as spiritual Israel.
No.
That's incorrect. Not a strike. And I hold my peace.
Amen.
Thanks, bro. Yeah. So a lot of the Christian, what we get from this, a lot of the Christian misunderstandings, precepts upon precepts destroy them. Yeah, a lot of the precepts destroy them. If you take them for face value, they do appear as if the Christians have a point, But when you look on precepts, it just destroys it. All right. So where was I now? Oh yes, I was down at. I was just looking at of some more examples of Yahuwah being the Elohim of Israel only, and there are the term in the King James version, the term the God of Israel. The God of Israel is there as a term. It is there 90 times in 16 books of the Bible, and 43 times it is in the book of Jeremiah. So let's look at a couple short verses in Jeremiah to see him describing himself as the Elohim of Israel. Jeremiah 7:3, Queenie.
Thus saith Yahuwah of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, amend your ways and your doings, and I will cause you to dwell in the house, in this place, sorry.
Okay, so we have the Elohim of Israel. Again, Jeremiah 7:21, verse 21. Go ahead.
Thus saith Yahuwah of hosts, the Elohim of Israel.
Okay, stop there. Yahuwah of hosts, the Elohim of Israel. Why do we think it is so imperative that almost 43 times in the book of Jeremiah, he had to put the Elohim of Israel beside Yahuwah's name?
To show how important we are.
To show how important it is to know that he is only the Elohim of Israel and none other.
Yeah.
That is why. Just really get this, is like he's saying, get this in your head.
Your thick head.
Get this in your thick head. He's the Elohim of no one else but Israel. 9:15. There are so many there. I think I just chose 3 of them. 9:15.
Therefore, thus saith Yahuwah of the Elohim of Israel.
Stop there. You see it again?
Mhm.
Right beside the name Yahuwah Sabaoth, he has the Elohim of Israel. Continue.
Behold, I will feed them, even this people, with wormwood, and give them water of gall to drink.
All right. So his people were misbehaving. So we know what happens when we misbehave. All right. Now another way to look at it now is the claim of him claiming Israel as his people. So look at a few verses of him claiming Israel as his people. Because him claiming his people, he said he chose them to be a people special above all other people.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to show certain instances now of him claiming these people as still being his people, as being his people. Shemoth 3, verse 7. Exodus 3:7.
And Yahuwah said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people which are in Egypt.
Oh,
And
who was in Egypt? Who are my people?
the Israelites.
Okay, continue.
And Yahuwah said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people which are in Egypt, and have heard their cry by reasons of their taskmasters, for I know their sorrows.
Okay, verse 10.
Verse 10. Come now, therefore, and I will send thee unto Pharaoh, that thou mayest bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt.
Oh, my people, the children of Rome.
Nope.
My people, the children of Germany.
Nope.
My people, the children of Egypt. My people, the children of Israel.
Israel.
And you realize he did not say, my people out of Egypt. He said, my people, the children of Israel.
All right. That's very, very astute. That's very great thinking, Queenie. Because that would mean that the mixed multitude that came out of Egypt with the children of Israel are not his people.
Right.
They are merely strangers who have chosen to join themselves to his people. That's very important, very, very important. I have to record this verse. Great thinking, Queenie. Exodus 8,
Yay!
Exodus 8, verse 1. Go ahead.
And Yahweh spake to Moses, Go unto Pharaoh and say unto him, Thus saith Yahweh, Let my people go, that they may serve me.
And we know he was speaking of the children of
Israel.
Yasharal. 1 Samuel 9:16. Go ahead.
Tomorrow about this time I will send thee a man out of the land of Benjamin, and thou shalt anoint him to be captain over my people Israel.
Oh. To be captain over my people, the Australians.
No.
Ah, my people,
Israel.
Israel. Okay. That he may save. Go ahead.
That he may save my people out of
Ooh,
the hand of
Philistines. Hold on.
Philistines.
The Philistines were Africans. And he
Really?
was saving his people out of the hand of the Philistines.
That means not everybody.
Huh?
That means it's not everybody.
It's a special nation, a unique, set apart nation that he chose for himself, a holy nation, Israel.
Peculiar people.
And that is why we are in bondage, because we are supposed to be holy. And if we are anything less and acting like the nations around us, if we are following the false priesthood, then we will be punished, because we made an agreement, a covenant with him, that we would be holy and we would obey him. So whenever we disobey, then we get punished. Right? Continue.
For I have looked upon my people, because their cry is come unto me.
3 times. Is it with 3 times? 3 times
Yeah.
in the one verse he mentioned my people. You see how important it is, how he claimed Israel, how he loves Israel.
Yep.
Huh?
Yes.
3 times in one sentence. 2 Chronicles 7:13-14, a very famous one that the Christians use, and not understanding it, the implication of it. 2 Chronicles 7:13.
If I shut up heaven that there be no rain, or if I command the locusts to devour the land, or if I send pestilence among my people,
Mm-hmm.
if my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and will heal their land.
The Christians don't know that he was speaking
Yeah.
about Israel, because as Sister Bernie said, they believe that they are spiritual Israel. So this was speaking about my people, my people, my people, my people. Tehillim 50 verse 7. Which one is that, Queenie? Tehillim?
Tehillim, I think Psalm.
What? What?
Brian. Brian.
That's a go on, Queenie. Psalm 50 verse 7.
Psalm 50 verse 7. Hear, O my people, and I will speak, O Israel, and I
Oh,
testify against thee. I am Yahuwah, even thy Elohim.
okay. That's one verse here wraps it up. Israel, his people. Israel, he is their Elohim. Even Israel's Elohim, thy Elohim, none other, as it says in Joel 2:27, Elohim of Israel and none else. Tehillim 81:8. Just want to read it when by the time I finish today, and anyone comes and tell us about he's the Elohim of everyone, then we must be able to.
Bring some verse for them.
Yes, man. Tehillim 81:8.
Hear, O my people, and I will testify unto thee, O Israel, if thou wilt hearken unto me.
Okay. So his people again being equated with Israel. Verse 11.
10 and 11.
Huh?
Verse 10 too.
Verse. Okay, yeah, go verse 10. Let's continue.
I am Yahuwah thy Elohim, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt. Open thy mouth wide, and I will fill it. But
Okay.
my people will not hearken to my voice, and Israel would none of me.
All right, my people Israel. Continue.
So I gave them up to their own heart's lust, and they walked in their own counsels. Oh, that my people had hearkened unto me, and Israel had walked in my ways.
Okay, so we see his people Israel. Without a doubt. All right? Now, as I said before, some people will not believe anything unless it is written in the New Testament. So we go again, once again, to Matityahu, verse chapter 2. Matityahu 2:22, verse 6. Go ahead.
And though Bethlehem in the land of Judah are not the least among the princes of Judah, for out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel.
Okay. So this is speaking of a prophecy. Of a governor of the Messiah that will come to rule his people Israel. Once again, as we said, the Messiah came for Israel. As he said, I came not but for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So this is telling us of the Messiah who is coming to redeem Israel, my people, Israel. All right.
You know, because when I was a Christian and I knew these verses, I never looked at it, you know, like you said that I had to be blind.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't look at, when you're a Christian, you don't look at these verses and apply them to you. You just look at it like it's a story that was told. And you only take these bits and pieces for examples, not to say these are prophecies. You know, you just say, oh, remember when such and such did such and such? Yeah, okay. And then we go back to the New Testament. And the only time you draw for the Old Testament is when it talks about prosperity, you know, giving your tithing, which they converted into money and stuff. So in a nutshell, they don't really look at these scriptures as precepts.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
They don't look at it like that. They look at it like it's just a story, for example, that was told, and that's it.
Yeah, and they take it for face value.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big mistake. And that is
Yeah,
why
they don't dissect it.
Okay, as you said, it's a good time to go to Yeshayahu 28, 13. This is very important for anyone watching this. This is so important to understanding scripture. You can't even imagine. Verse 9. Verse 9, Queenie.
Isaiah 28, verse 9. Whom shall ye teach knowledge? And whom shall ye make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast?
Okay. So those who will get knowledge and those who will understand doctrine, they cannot be babies. They cannot be those who have little understanding, who cannot understand deeper things. All right? And he will show us how we get to understand deeper things in verse 10.
Verse 10. For precepts must be upon precepts, precept upon precept, line upon line upon line, here a little and there a little.
So the Christian tradition of the picking up verses here and there and taking the verses for face value, it does not work. That are for those who are on milk. What works is matching precepts, and precepts are authoritative commands. So you match precept upon precept, line upon line, okay, and then that is now how you will prove that which is true and that which is not true. And verse 11 says,
For with stammering lips and another tongue will he speak to his people.
okay, so we'll speak to them in another language.
What
Don't want
language
to go
is
deep. Go ahead.
what language is that?
Another language. Okay, like in this day, we are speaking in the English language.
French.
Right?
French
And,
too.
and different people are going to be, our people are going to be scattered all over the world, and they are not going to be speaking in the language in which this was originally written, which was Paleo-Hebrew. So because it's going to be written in another language, and man will have it and man will tamper with it, the only way for us to get the true knowledge of it is to match precepts upon precepts. Okay, that is like essentially what he's saying. But verse 13 now is where let's go to verse 12 and we go to verse 13. Go to verse 12.
Queenie?
To whom he said, This is the rest wherewith we may cause the weary to rest, and this is the refreshing that they would not hear. But the word of Yahuwah was unto them precept upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little, that they might go and fall backward and be broken and snared and taken. This verse is for those who do not match precept upon precept, because it is saying here that the word of Yahuwah is precept upon precept. So that is the only way you can get the word. So the Most High put it that way for those who are not to hear or understand, that they should not hear or understand, and so they will go and fall backward and be broken, snared, and taken. Yes? And this, of course, is equivalent to when Yeshayahu also said that, and the Messiah repeated it, that when the disciples asked the Messiah, why does he speak to them in parables? And he repeated a prophecy of Yeshayahu that hearing they hear not, seeing that they see, and that neither will they understand, that I might heal them. So the precept upon precept is to keep out those who are not to understand. So the Christian tradition of the picking up those lines and not using precept upon precept will have them destroyed. All right? All right, Bernie?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Now, there is a time when, no, before I reach to there, let us just look at this. We spoke initially of this rival priesthood that Satan has always have running from the time of Cain, the same spirit of a rival priesthood, an unholy priesthood. And the reason for this is for the devil, the deceiver, Satan, to achieve, where is it? To achieve this, to exalt himself, to be like the Most High. Yeshayahu 14:12. Queenie.
14:12. Oh, son
Whoa.
of the morning. Oh, art thou
Can't hear you,
I
breaking up.
I think our Wi-Fi is
Okay, Sister Bernie, can you read this, please?
sure. Okay. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? Few art thou cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of Elohim. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High.
Okay,
Yet thou,
okay. That's it. This is what the Satan is attempting to achieve, to be like the Most High, which is why he has set up this equivalent priesthood, this equivalent form of worship throughout the world through false Elohim, false mighty ones, so that at all costs he can be like the Most High. And
now, okay. May
you're,
I?
yeah, you're saying something?
Yeah, okay. So when he said he wanted to be like the Most High, what
Yeah.
is wrong in wanting to be like the Most High?
What is wrong with it being like? Because he is a rival. He is trying to physically be like the Most High. Or should I say?
get people to worship him?
Yes, the worship.
Yeah.
Get people to
Right.
worship him and to follow him and
Call
to,
him and say
yeah,
he is the Most High.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So could we have termed it another way instead of saying he wants to be like the Most High? Could it be stated in a different way? Because we are supposed to be like the Most High, but not like how he wants to be like the Most High. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't. We are
Does
supposed
anybody
to.
get what I'm saying?
We are supposed to want to be like the Most High.
Yeah, and we're supposed to be like him because his son is a replica of him, and we're supposed to be like the son, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but in
Yes.
terms of righteousness.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying how it's stated on a at face value, you wouldn't see anything wrong in saying, okay, I want to be like the Most High. You
No,
understand?
no. It says here, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. This is saying he wants
Want
the
to go
power of
higher.
in heavenly places. Yeah? And he
He
says,
Yeah.
wants to take
I will sit
over.
also upon the mount of the congregation. He wants to be in Zion. He wants to control. I will
The
set,
head.
I will
He wants to
exalt.
be the head.
I will exalt my throne above the stars of Elohim. So this is actually saying I will ascend into heaven. He even wants to get into heaven. So this is like a usurpation, like an overthrow. It's like a coup.
Right.
So it's totally different from us being like the Messiah.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Say, okay, so but if
But
you
us
take
being
all,
Yeah.
hold on one second. If you take all those verses and you combine it, then you can see that it's like an overthrow. But just that sentence alone, I'll be like the Most High, is not bad within itself. But if you put it all together, it's horrible.
Oh,
but the
You
Most
see
High
what
don't
I'm
know which
saying?
one.
yeah.
Coming from his mouth is just wrong.
But the question is though, we understand what it is saying though.
Right.
Yes.
So the words are good as long as we get the understanding that being like the Most High means he wants to exalt himself.
Right,
To
but
the level of the Most High.
you see, like for example, I know that this is a recording, and I know I get a lot of the questions, and a
Okay.
lot of the questions that I'm asking or posing, they are questions from people.
Okay.
So I'm saying it because some of them are valid, some of them are said out of curiosity, some are just asked out of arrogance. But nonetheless, they will be educated once they hear this.
Yeah,
So
man.
yeah, so that's what I was saying. In of itself, that part I'll be like the Most High is not bad, but coming like Queenie said, coming from his mouth and putting all of that together, it is a horrid thing to say.
But I got the understanding that when he says he wants to be like the Most High, it means he wants to rule as the final authority,
Supreme being.
his supreme being. Yeah.
Yeah, he wants to be sovereign because when you check out, like how Brian, you highlighted all those other things, when you see all of these other things that he wants to be, then you'll be like, oh, okay, well, you're an evil one, that kind of thing.
All right. So very important thing though. We went through and we showed that Yahuwah is the Elohim of Israel and Israel only. Now we have this God who is the God of everybody. We have Allah from Islam who they said is the God of everyone. All right? Now I'm going to tell you that any Elohim or quote unquote God of everyone is Satan. So as much as we love the Lord, He is the God of everyone. If we love God, Christian God, He's the God of everyone. We love Yahweh. Yahweh is the Elohim, our God of everyone. We love Jehovah. Jehovah is the God of everyone. Whichever name we call them by, as
Don't
long as
forget
that,
Jesus.
pardon?
I said, don't forget the infamous Jesus.
Yes. Whatever name we call them, and they are the Elohim of everyone, then let's see. 2 Corinthians 4:4.
To whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ, of Messiah, who is the image of Elohim, should shine unto them.
Okay. So we see in whom the God of this world is none other than the
And
evil
Satan.
one. Right? So any one of those mighty ones that I just called, or whatever they call them, any one of them that is presented to you that he is the God of everyone or is the God of this world, rest assured that it is Hasatan.
The devil.
It is Satan.
Satan.
Yahuwah is the Elohim of only one nation of people. If anybody wants to
Israel.
of Israel, if anyone wants to follow him, they have to join themselves to Israel if they are not Israelites in the flesh. They have to join themselves to Israel. You cannot independently set up a religious organization, a religious faith, and say you're worshiping the Most High. That you have set up, if it is not in covenant with Yahuwah, following his laws, his statutes and commandments, and this is another thing about Christianity, they don't follow his laws, they don't follow his statutes and his commandments, and therefore they follow the rival false priesthood, the rival evil priesthood, which, as we said in the beginning, the Bible, they are able to extract and run their priesthood from the Bible. So any faith, including the one that I was in, Yahweh, before I came here, they will argue with you that Yahuwah, but the Most High is the Elohim of everyone, right? Any Elohim of everyone is Satan.
Probably because he created everyone, that is why they are saying that he's the Elohim of everyone.
Yeah, he created everyone, but here is the thing now. Because we were in bondage, we were blinded as to the understanding and the truth of the scripture. But now he's opening our eyes so we understand, because I too once thought that way, that he was the Elohim of everyone. But once I come into the knowledge now and start moving and getting more understanding, I get to realize that no, this is not about everybody.
It's
It's
about
about
one
only
nation.
one set of people. And when you get the understanding of the two rival priesthoods, then we get the understanding as to why Yahuwah did it. Why he took this one set of people. Why is he so biased that he took this one set of people? No, it is because the entire rest of the world had decided to walk in the way of the false priesthood. So he set apart a people and say, no, you walk different from them. Which is why when he brought them into the promised land, before he did that, he said, the nations around you don't have anything to do with them. And this is why he made them wipe them out. He made them wipe them out because he knew that they would pollute them. That's why a lot of people we don't understand. When I look at it and say, oh, you're wicked, and in that. No, he knows that there's no good in them, and because he made them, he can get rid of them, to make a way for these special people. Which is why he says, I gave Egypt as ransom, and I gave what other place's name for thee? Ethiopia and somebody else for thee. In other words, he will give up people. I don't remember. He will give up people for his people, just to have this set apart holy people upon the face of this earth. And this is why we cannot walk in unrighteousness, because we are chartered to carry the holiness of the Most High. Yeah?
Kind of like when you have, I don't know, you know how my mind works. As soon as you just said that, I saw this. That kind of like when you got people up in the air in a plane and somebody got a bomb on the plane or whatever, they would rather kill, the Air Force would rather kill the 400 people in the air than to let it kill 4 million on the ground.
Yeah.
Kind of like that.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. All right. So he is the Elohim of Israel. But one day, Yeshayahu made a promise that one day he shall be called the Elohim of the whole earth. Yeshayahu 54:5. That time has not yet come as yet, so he's still the Elohim of Israel. Yeshayahu 54:5. Read, Queenie.
Verse 5. For thy Maker is thine husband. Yahuwah of hosts is his name. And thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel.
We have read so much of paper.
The Elohim of the whole earth shall he be called.
Okay. The Elohim of the whole earth shall he be called. This is a future prophecy. It has not yet happened.
Whole earth referring to at the time when the Israelites will be the only one on earth.
Yes.
What?
I hear people say that Israelites will be the only ones, but I still haven't got it 100%. But that is what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That is where we're going next. No,
Okay.
eventually. All right? So, the Elohim of the whole earth shall he be called. And if we match up to the prophecy, go to Revelation 21:1, we see how this prophecy will be fulfilled. Let's just go there. Revelation 21:1, when he will be called the Elohim of the whole earth. 21:1, but this has not yet happened. This is a future prophecy. For now, he is the Elohim of Israel only. Read, Queenie, please.
And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from Elohim out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of Yahuwah is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and Yahuwah himself shall be with them, and be their Elohim.
Okay. So this is the fulfillment of the prophecy in Yeshayahu 54:5, when the Elohim of the whole earth shall he be called. All right? It has not yet happened. So for now, he is still and remains the Elohim of Israel.
And one of the beautiful, go into the same Isaiah 54, verses 17. It takes on a new meaning to me now.
17?
Now that yeah.
Oh.
You know, it takes on a more beautiful meaning.
Yes.
Because when it says this is the heritage.
Okay, hold on. Go, Queenie. Read it. And then Bernie will give her a piece. Go ahead.
No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. That this is the heritage of the servants of Yahuwah, and their righteousness is of me, saith Yahuwah.
Go ahead, Bernie.
No, I was saying it says the heritage. Does it break down to say this is the benefits, or is it just because we are, you know, what's your take on that?
Oh, no. Okay, this is speaking about the redemption again of Israel. The redemption again of Israel. So this is the heritage of the servants. This is what the servants of Yahuwah will benefit from. All right?
Ah, okay. That did get it.
Let's go back up and see. Eternal covenant of peace. Yes, this is the redemption, the last redemption of his people.
Hallelujah.
When he shows favor to his people. All right? And notice the heritage is to the servants of Yahuwah. And you know the Israelites are his servants. And their righteousness is of me. And remember we spoke again of the two rivals, the unholy or the unrighteous priesthood and the righteous one, which is of Yahuwah. So their righteousness is of me. So, anyone else has anything to add or subtract or multiply or divide before I close?
There is a scripture that says, I think it's in Isaiah, where it says that they will, I think it's in 54 if I'm not mistaken, where it says that they will come up against you, but it will not be of me. Isn't it in 54? Hold on, let me look.
All right, since you have to do some searching, I think it's best we kind of close. Then you can add your thing, all right?
Okay.
For the sake of the video.
Right.
All righty. So yes, we have looked today at the question as to whether Yahuwah, the Most High, is the Elohim of everyone. All right? or whether he is the Elohim of Israel. And we saw without a doubt, underlined in Joel 2:27, which tells us that he is the Elohim of Israel and none else. Joel 2:27. And ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am Yahuwah your Elohim, and none else, and my people shall never be ashamed.
See.
He is the Elohim of Israel. The nations each have their own Elohim. Each have their own. And we saw that these nations do not give up their Elohim. They hand them down from generation to generation to their people. And the religion that we got from these people, these nations, Christianity, Islam also, cannot be the true belief of our people. Not to mention the fact that we found out and realized that they hate Yahuwah and hate his people. A nation that hates Yahuwah and hates his people is not going to give us a religion or a belief that worships Yahuwah. We do not worship what we hate. All right? And so, Satan, the Elohim of this world, has set up this rival priesthood in order to get worship, in order to be like the Most High. And so, Yahuwah set apart a people to be holy unto himself, to be his holy and royal priesthood, which is why he said in Kephah Rishon 9, but ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, an holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should show forth the praises of him who hath called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. So he has called us to be set apart out of darkness and called us into his priesthood, his holy, royal, righteous priesthood out of the unholy priesthood which dominates the entire world. And so he set apart this people to be holy unto himself in a world that is full of righteousness. As it said in Job 9:24, I think, the world is given over to wickedness. Let me quickly go there because I don't want to say the wrong. Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Yes. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So the world is in the hand of the wicked, so he called out and set apart a people unto himself out of this world. And this people are the children of Israel, and this is why he is only the Elohim of the children of Israel. He is not the Elohim of everyone. Any deity that is called the Elohim of everyone, be it God the Lord, be it Yahweh, be it Jehovah, as long as he is the Elohim of everyone, then that is Satan himself masking as an angel of light in order to get worship, in order to be like the Most High. The Elohim of Israel, Yahuwah Sabaoth, the creator of all things, the Elohim of this world, is only the Elohim of Israel and none else. None else. All right? So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please share and don't forget to subscribe. All right? Shalom.
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 Hello.